Wow. Talk about coming out swinging in your directorial debut. This is the one to watch this weekend. I'm just saying. So Talk to Me is an A24 indie horror flick. I saw the trailer some time ago. Never saw the trailer again, but I saw the trailer. I was like, that actually looks pretty awesome. Time goes on. Forgot all about it. And people in the comment section of my last review were like, you should totally watch Talk to Me. That's the one you should be watching. I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, that movie. Yeah, that trailer looked great. In Talk to Me, there's this creepy porcelain hand. You shake the hand, you say, talk to me, a spirit will appear. This spirit can latch on to you. If they do it for less than 90 seconds, hey, it's fun times. More than 90 seconds, you might just be haunted forever. Which actually, it's cooler than it sounded just now. When I was hearing myself talk about it, I was like, that just sounds like every horror movie ever. Haunted object, people mess around with the haunted object. Now something is latched on to the folks messing around with the haunted object. Right, we've seen that how many times? That's kind of what I love about this though. It shows what a familiar sounding concept can be in the right hands. Elevated with its own spin, and it feels new without overcomplicating it. That's another thing. I love the fact that the object, it could be any object. For this film, it's a hand. The handshake is a universal, friendly greeting for most folks. Nope. Could go very wrong in here. There's something simple yet brilliant about that. Now, the directors, Danny and Michael Filippo, it's their feature film directorial debut, and they have a YouTube channel. They're YouTubers. I mean, among other things, you look at the IMDb, they are listed as working as crew behind the camera on some other projects, TV shows, and film. They also made short films on their YouTube channel. It's just, what a great story. It's actually kind of incredible. Work in the industry behind the camera, get the experience, make short films on your YouTube channel, gain the experience, gain the skills, and when you've gained all the skill points in this RPG known as life, turn them all in, crush it in your directorial debut, and that's exactly what they did. Because if you look at their YouTube channel and you hear these guys are going to make a feature film, you would be forgiven if you thought, yeah, it's going to be a super high-octane action flick. It's not. This is a very deliberately paced, amazingly creepy horror film. The pacing in this movie is great. It doesn't rush the tension building, but also it starts out with this scene that just makes you like, oh my God, it just sticks with you. Kind of like a reverse babysitter from hell sitting with you while you're watching the plot build. Like it's whispering in your ear all like, don't worry, it's not gonna be okay. The cast is a group of young, very talented, generally unknown people by me. The ones I did know. Miranda Otto, who played Éowyn in the Lord of the Rings movies. She plays the mom. I thought she was fantastic. She had a couple of moments of interaction that made me chuckle, but it didn't overtly look like they were just trying to interject humor into this film. It didn't feel out of place. You know how many times we've seen that these days? It's like movies are like, yeah, but we gotta have funny things that just feel out of place. It was never like that. But then when it gets real, it absolutely gets real. She's very dramatic about it. It just all worked. Also, Zoe Terakis, who I personally knew from the Wentworth series, was also really good in here. Like, everybody does a great job. But Sophie Wilde is the star of this film. The main character being tormented by spirits, possessed by spirits, I thought she was phenomenal. Human, vulnerable, and scary all at the same time. You know, when she's the one being scary. Don't fuck around with ghosts. They can be dicks. But how is the horror in the film? Yes, the horror is very effective. You have visual horror. Some of these ghosts are actually pretty horrific looking. There are a couple of gross out moments, which I usually don't like. But in most movies, the gross out moments, like everything else, tries too hard. In this movie, I felt the gross out moments were in context of the world that we're dealing with here. It's the best I can say it. What you're dealing with is one scene in particular, I'm like, that's nasty. But that would happen. But this movie deals with the best of horror, which for me is the anxiety. You know, it's that proverbial guitar string tightening in the room, the tension that just doesn't go away. It gives you some solid haunting creep factor, but better than most, also illustrates the state of mental hell and torment that situation would be. In terms of unbridled fright factor, this is the most effectively scary or unsettling horror movie I've seen in a very long time. Guys, in the end, I genuinely hope this movie is #1 in the box office this weekend. Couple more days of word of mouth. I hope it gets there because it genuinely deserves it. And if not this weekend, hey, as we've seen recently, word of mouth can carry a film onward and upward. I hope it gets there. If someone had told me that this film was actually directed by a very seasoned horror director, I would have believed it. It's that well executed. And something that feels fresh, new, and elevated in the horror movie genre. It's one of my favorites of the year, absolutely. Not gonna draw this out any longer. Talk to Me is Awesome-tacular. All right, so talk to me. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to say more.